The eldest amongst my siblings, and my brother who is in prison, he's number 3. And my mother, a very patient person, and she has been tested in a lot of different ways as well. Because my father, he had cancer. He died 10 years ago. And now I'm a cancer patient too. I guess going through all the stress doesn't help much. So my mom suffers a lot because of all of us. My mom opened the door. They all started running in the house, up and down the stairs and out to the back garden. I couldn't understand why it was all happening, so I kept on asking them, and all they told me was, watch TV for the news and you'll know. My father at the time was very ill, and when he saw them coming in, he went very pale and he started shaking, and he stood up and he fell back down on the bed, and he said to them, "Why are you here? What have we done?" So it didn't help his situation. The kids were very young, although they didn't understand what was going on, but these 2 very lively kids, they went very, very quiet. It took them a long time to get out of that. In fact, I don't think my son has ever been out of it, because his personality gradually started changing with all the things that were happening around him. He saw his uncle in prison, and initially when we saw him, he was behind a screen. For him, he was the only father figure around, so he wouldn't even face him. He just sat ducked down on the floor and wouldn't even speak to my brother. And all those things have affected him so badly. He's got a very bad temper. My father dying with cancer didn't help much, and the situation with my brother didn't help my father's cancer. But that was the first time I saw my father in that state where he was in tears. And just because he had mentioned my brother being in prison to a district nurse, and he wasn't one of those people who would actually become weak or show that he show his emotions. So to deal with all that as well, to deal with my father's illness, to deal with my brother going to prison, it wasn't something that I should have dealt with. My marriage went under strain. My ex-husband decided to take advantage of the situation, so we ended up getting a divorce. I did end up getting a job because my father was ill. He was a pensioner. There was no other source of income, but then my father got even worse, so I had to give up the job. My father was a very strong person, and one of the things that you need with cancer and that keeps you alive and going is your strength. But my brother's situation made it so bad for my father that he wasn't as strong anymore, and I believe that's how he left this world. If he had been stronger, if all those situations hadn't arisen, he would have been in this world for longer. And when my father passed away, he was planning to go and see my brother. A couple of days later, we were planning to put a duvet on the back seat and take him lying down on there. But he didn't make it even to see him. He hadn't seen him for a whole year when he passed away, and he wanted to be buried in Pakistan. So we went to Pakistan, and when I came back, things were a lot worse because my bills hadn't been paid. I didn't have money to pay for anything. Even the situation with food was quite bad for some time. I didn't show it, but I know that I myself wasn't coping as well. When my brother went into prison, I wasn't driving, so we would take buses and trains to go and see him. That is an hour and a half's drive, but with the train it took a lot longer, and we had to change trains. And having little children, 2 little children, and and then trying to wrap them up in the winter, dragging them along, getting up early in the morning, getting them dressed and taking them with us. It was me, my mum and the two kids, mainly we used to go. It was very difficult. I realised that I wasn't actually coping well at all. Emotionally especially, and although with other people around me, like my mum and the children, I didn't show it, but I know that I myself wasn't coping as well. With all the stress in my life and my health kept on deteriorating, I was always trying to run around and sort different things out, but it came to a state where I started getting pains, but I wasn't sure what the pains were, and the doctors didn't diagnose me straight away. I was in pain for 2 months before I actually found a lump myself. But by that time, the cancer had already spread into my bones and liver. But when I was diagnosed, I was told I had 6 months to live. My mum was crying really loud and saying, "Allah, what am I going to do? You've taken my son away, and now you're trying to take my daughter away too. What am I going to do without them? I have no one." So, although my mum's been very patient, not shown her emotions at all, but that day was the first time I've actually seen her breaking down. And I didn't know what to do. That was the first time ever I didn't know how to calm my mum down. My son, being the only male in the family, I guess he misses not having a male figure around. Every situation in our life, it has made it worse for him. My brother being in prison, his father not being a father and leaving, then my father dying. Then when I got cancer, his first question to me was, "Mum, do you have cancer?" So he's become very, very sensitive and very temperamental and very angry. But alhamdulillah, I have been going to Germany for treatment, and that has helped. I know that my mum and my kids need me, so I keep on praying to Allah to give me the strength to keep on fighting this cancer and stay around as long as they need me to stay around. I don't know even if they let him out, what sort of situation he's going to be in, because there have been brothers who have been let out and they were not allowed to see certain members of family, or they were not allowed to go back to their homes. Again, they would arrest them and they would have to go to court again through trials and then come out again. So I keep on praying that my brother doesn't have to go through that, but you never know. HHUGS contacted me, and that's from there onwards they started helping me. Well, then my financial situation changed. I got a job, and I didn't need help anymore. But when I got cancer again, and that's how HHUGS got involved again. And it was actually a sister from HHUGS who helped me to, two sisters. One even helped me to get with driving lessons. She gave me driving lessons, and another one helped me to get professional driving lessons as well. So then I started driving. I got a little car, and I ended up going to see him. Then we started going to see him every 2 weeks. And because I started driving, I was spending less money. So that was the initial help I had from HHUGS, a very big help. And when I got ill, I needed him there, but he wasn't around. He tries to help as much as he can from where he is, but I need him to be with me, and he can't. I could have a really high temperature, and I've had a visit booked. I've even driven to Franklin in that state. I would go and see him, but now because I get in pain and I can't drive myself, and although brothers from HHUGS help us and take us to see him, but we don't go as often as we used to. And I'm always very, very grateful to HHUGS for making it possible for us to see him. Because now that I can't drive, I didn't think, even if I could drive, or I couldn't go by other means either because of my physical health. So they make it possible for us to go and see him. With HHUGS, they always send me little gifts for the kids, and they send me a gift voucher, a gift card, and all that sort of stuff. So it makes the kids happy. When kids are happy, mothers are always happier. So they have always done that. On Eid al-Adha, they always send meat and stuff, so that helps a lot too. And even now, since I've been ill, I had a lot of work that needed to be done, and because I'm always worried about my treatment, I haven't been able to put anything towards the house. My house was in a very bad state. They sorted everything out for me, got the rooms cleared out, painted, all the decoration, and my kitchen and my downstairs bathroom needed to be done. HHUGS have been helping me with that again. I wanted to increase my source of income, so I was trying to get my garage changed into a studio flat. The builder that came, he didn't finish the work, and he left it in half done. HHUGS actually helped me to finish that. And at the moment, I'm actually using that place to stay while they're doing the downstairs of my house now. So there are things that I can't do myself, and HHUGS have always helped me with that. Wonderful, beautiful, and the greatest help. There are sisters out there who are in worse situation than me, and HHUGS have helped them too. They had no means of income. They had no one to help them. They didn't know anyone. And HHUGS have been there for them. They have been not just the financial support, but the emotional and the physical support for them too. If HHUGS wasn't around, I don't know how these people would cope. And Allah has made HHUGS a means for these people to have a better life. These people, there is no support out there for them except for HHUGS. To HHUGS, all I would say is keep it up. You can't do any better than what you're doing now. And for the public, I would say support HHUGS as much as you can, because they are the best people in the world and they need your support to be able to support all these people in need. Jazakallah khair to all of you, all my brothers and sisters who have been supporting me and all the people in my situation. May Allah reward you immensely in this world and the next world. And may you never have any form of downfall or problems in your lives. May you be the happiest people in the world, here and in the afterlife.